Direct from the Six, world-renowned, Canada's largest city, with Canada's biggest thinkers, visionaries, and hustlers. This is Startup Talk, featuring the founders, funders, innovators, and community leaders who've led Canada's startup ecosystem right here in Toronto. You'll hear the challenges, the failures, the successes. Toronto Startup Podcast gives you the full story direct from the entrepreneurs and influencers who've made a difference. Now, the host of Startup Talk, the founder of TorontoStarts, the Startup Coach.
Yeah, and let's dive into it a little bit around, this device and the whole gamification of, health and longevity for your pet. How does that work? What kind of statistics is the homeowner getting that changes his interactivity with the pet? How does that all work?
Right. So as you conduct these daily tasks, right, feeding, walking, doing these chores that we kind of say, look, here is what you're supposed to do. When we hold your hand through that process, every time you log in, kind of conduct these tasks, and some are completely driven by the wearable, where the wearable picks up the data and kind of reports on it. But other things you kind of need to do as well by yourself and kind of manually input, right? And so as you conduct them and you finish them, you get points. The points can be offset for rewards. The rewards can be offset in a sort of shop where you can buy services or physical products, right? And very often we work with partners and we white label, we do an end-to-end solution for them. So that kind of gamification side, what's the value of the reward and what can you do with it? It depends on what their core business is and how they want to kind of value that. So, but we also have kind of MyPetGo brand where we do it. And so, essentially anything that has to do with your pet and pet care, everything can be consolidated and done inside of the app, right? If you need to buy food, you need to talk to a televet, you need to schedule a grooming session, you need to store your insurance documentations. We built our own Dropbox inside of the journal. You want to kind of journal on feeding patterns or medication that you're giving because you got an aging pet that's kind of at the back end of the life cycle and they need medication. So you can do everything in there, and you can, go completely bananas and do everything if that's your prerogative. But if you just want to kind of use it for peace of mind and consolidating a couple of things, and you want to go paperless and you want to keep your, pedigree certificate and microchip information, all of that, you can kind of store that and you use it as you want to use it. So it's entirely up to the user, I suppose. The gamified portion is to make it more engaging, like that you can engage every day. There are things to do, and it's up to you how you kind of want to leverage and use that.
Is there some sort of leaderboard competition or groups where I can compete with the owner of the pug down the street to make sure my pet's getting better exercise and we get more points?
Right. Yeah. So we're implementing that you can compete. If you've got a Maltese, like I got a Maltese, I can compete with other Maltese. It's not just, in my near community, but sort of worldwide, right? Because our offering works across the globe. So yeah, there are leaderboards like the gamification will gradually evolve, and I think we need to listen to what the wants and needs are from the users. Of course, everybody will say, I want the points to be worth more so I can get more, great stuff. But I think, it's also like, how do they want it to, like, what type of competitions and, what type of leaderboards do they actually want to have? So, yeah.
And I would imagine at the same time sharing information among those pet owners as well. Oh, I had this problem as well. This is what I did. It helped my dog, that kind of thing.
Sure. I mean, the community aspect is big, right? And I think, we live in a world where people try to, they want to kind of try to do it from the comfort of their home. And very much that thing we can facilitate, right? Like when we discover that there is abnormalities with the data, we then report this to you through a push notification. And then we give you a next step recommendation, right? So it's like, something is wrong. Here's what you can do about it. and here is someone who can help you in your vicinity. And this is when we connect you up to a service provider or a physical product. So now this depends on what the issue pertains to. But the whole notion of what we're doing is, if you are a loving pet parent, but you're time poor, right? And you're a little bit forgetful. I think we forget to take our own meds and our own supplements and vitamins, and we forget to go to the dentist and all this stuff. Like, how are we going to remember all this stuff for our dog? And so I think we help a lot in with that. And we have functions where you can share a data report with a televet on the other end of the line through a dynamic link. So you pick a date range and you pick what type of data you want to share. And instantly you get a hyperlink that can be shared through WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram or email, whatever you prefer. And as someone clicks on the link, all that data kind of opens up from that date range. And that can be shared with family, friends, your vet, or, whoever you want to share it with. Yeah.
So this has been great. And I'm sure our listeners want to find out more about you and MyPetGo. Where can they go?
Well, I'm not the most social person, on the World Wide Web, I should say. If you meet me, I'm happy to have a drink with you. But you can find me on LinkedIn. That's, I guess, the platform that I do use. And I think it's starting to get a little bit too Facebooky with a lot of weird stuff now. But especially with all the Trump and Musk and his salute the other day and everything else, there's a lot of it's getting very opinionated. But I think, to connect with other professionals and to source partnerships and deals and stuff, it is still the place. It's still the mecca for that. And so I'm there. Just search Richard Nilsson, MyPetGo, you'll find me. So you can connect with me if you want to ask me any questions about hardware, what not to do, pitfalls. Happy to help anybody, happy to give back. If you need help with advice on anything else, entrepreneurship, happy to help as well. So you can reach out there. If you want to go to MyPetGo, we don't have the sexiest website at the moment, but mypetgo.com. You can read up there. There is a new one launching soon. That's why I say it's not the sexiest. It's been there a while. It's a little bit outdated, I would say. It's an old application on it. Just launched a new one. But yeah, that's probably the two places. You find me there, and don't be a stranger if you want to talk. I'm usually always I always try to give people time.
It's been great chatting with you, and I'll just kind of end with this kind of thought, because you've talked about, Trump and the politics going on LinkedIn and whatnot. And I always found it funny when companies need to take sides in any political or hot topic in any way, shape, or form. Because unless it's you or directly affects you as a company, why do you need to weigh in on these divisive topics? Because I think it was Michael Jordan who said it best, Republicans buy shoes too. Why would I? It's hard enough to get customers. Why would I alienate such a high percentage of the population by sharing my political views or a company's political views, or taking a stand versus one politician or other, or a religion or another? Like, why would you do that? It makes no sense from a business point of view. So keep your that personal information out of your business, because why would you, it's hard enough to get customers. Why would you make it even harder and limit that pool?
Agree. He's a wise man, Michael Jordan. Yeah. Really good businessman, actually. Really good entrepreneur.
Yeah. And it just always strikes me as like, why do this? Like, I understand. I understand you don't like this politician or you don't like that politician, but if you bring it into business, you're dividing your customers up and you're doing a disservice to your business. So do your best to not bring that forward. I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk to me, Richard, and I loved learning all about MyPetGo.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
And for those listening, all the links he mentioned will be in the show notes on the podcast, so just click on that and the links will be there. Thanks, everyone.
This has been Startup Talk, Toronto's startup podcast. For more exclusive content, the episode vault, and to be part of TorontoStarts community, visit TorontoStarts.com. Get your name on the newsletter mailing list and check out our upcoming events. For more episodes, subscribe now. And please recognize the time and work behind the scenes put into connecting you with the biggest visionaries, entrepreneurs, and innovators in Toronto by leaving a 5-star review. Join us for more next episode from Toronto's most active entrepreneur and startup community on Startup Talk.